what size business makes sense to have a public relations firm on their speed dial?
Not too small, because it can be expensive. And the average PR firm in the New York market will charge anywhere from $5,000 a month to 10 to 25. The big ones will charge hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow!
But those are to
Right.
Fortune 500 companies. Right. So you want to do as much as you can on your own, and it's really a way of thinking. It's PR is just it's looking at your business in a little bit of a different way. You know your business. Anyone who's starting one knows what they do. They're probably already good at whatever product or service they're providing, but they don't take time to think how this might be sellable to other people and how it's interesting. And every business is. Every business is interesting.
Great point you're saying. And I'm sorry to interrupt, because so many times I know I speak with people, and I'm sure you as well, and they just don't realize how bright the future is, because they're in their box. They're by their desk all day, and they see what's in front of their nose. But like what you're touching on, something that's such a great point and we know that small businesses comprise of the listenership of the show, and that's why when such valuable golden nuggets are shared by such great guests, I like to jump on it. In your company, whatever you're doing, there is opportunity. When you deal with a public relations firm or even people out there that have world experience, they will be able to see way beyond what you can see in your four walls of your office.
That's right. I mean, every business or product or whatever it might be, or candidate for that matter, I'd like to think of them as a big jewel in my hand. I've seen that in my head for years. And you look at the facets, because a lot of the facets have no interest to most other people.
Right.
But if you keep twisting that thing in the light, you're going to find the one that pops, no matter what it is. It's I remember I worked with a guy years ago when I was first starting out who had done some work for Lysol, and I was like, oh, that's got to be tough. And he said, no, do you know that Lysol kills the new, Basmakan germ? And I was like, what's that germ? And it was like, suddenly I'm into it. Like, what's the germ? What does it do? Do you know what that can do to your family if it gets out? But Lysol kills it. Or you could look around the room and, who made, the doorknobs? The doorknobs are interesting if you say, well, where did the doorknobs come from? Have they always came from France? Right. Is that a new thing? Is it, where's the metal made? Where's the thing? Or if you buy a new building, what did that building used to be? Who used to live there? Who lived there in the colonial times? Like if you just dig at stuff, you're going to find something.
And not even
of
that much.
All right, and not even that much. Often it's, if you have a few employees, the employees themselves are interesting. They'll have a nice life story. I'll give you an example.
Sure.
I was doing some pro bono help for an old school in Brooklyn that was having some trouble a number of years ago. Okay. And I came in and I walked around the school looking for stories, which is typically what I do. I get a notebook and just, kick the tires. Where are you from? What's your favorite color? And, how long have you been doing it this way? And the person who was walking me around the school, we were partying and I said, well, can I call you on Monday? He said, no, I'm going to be gone. I said, oh, you're going on vacation? Where about? He goes, I'm going to Russia. And I said,
why didn't you tell me that?
Right. I said, well, I thought, are you Russian? I thought you struck me as Italian. He said, no, I'm Italian. Do you have family in Russia? No, but I go to Russia every year. Well, why? Well, and he was kind of, I just got involved with things. Well, I'm like, well, what was that? So we pushed the point. Right. He had seen a story 4 or 5 years before about a Russian orphanage for deaf children. Okay. And the fire broke out, and the fire alarms went on, but they couldn't hear them, and they all died. And this was a guy who had worked for Governor Mario Cuomo, and had saved his pension. He'd been a teacher for a while before that, and had saved his pension, lived in a place in Stuyvesant Town in the city, and didn't have any children or a wife. And so he started a little not-for-profit with his own money, and each year he would save enough money to wire a school with lights in Russia for the deaf. And I said, well, that's an incredible story. Can I tell that?
Special story.
Can I tell that? And he said, no, that's just for me. And I loved him for it. But there's stories everywhere if you look for them. And what you have to do in public relations is marry the story to the audience that you're trying to reach and the conversation you're trying to have with them. The narrative is kind of the word du jour. What's the story? Who do you want to reach? What story do you want to tell them? And then, how do the things around you promote that story or work themselves into that story, and then how do you deliver it?
I love the honor of interviewing C-level executives and sharing their great advice and perspective on Mind Your Business. I'd love to get your feedback. Post it in the comments below and subscribe
you'll never miss an edition of Mind Your Business